Do you suffer from debilitating chronic fatigue and brain fog? Have you been diagnosed with an MTHFR gene mutation? Well, stick around because in this video I'm going to share with you the simple supplement routine that I've refined over the past 5 years that has helped make my brain fog and chronic fatigue a thing of the past. Hey there, welcome to Moksha Life, where I help you achieve self-mastery so you can live out your life purpose. When I was trying to understand the root cause of my debilitating brain fog and chronic fatigue, I came across something called an MTHFR gene mutation. Essentially, the MTHFR gene mutation is a breakdown in the methylation cycle. Methylation is the transfer of CH3, so 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen atoms, to another substance. You can think of methylation as the gears and switches that turn on a host of different systems in the body. So when methylation breaks down, it really starts to disrupt our system on a number of different levels. So what problems does the MTHFR gene mutation cause? First of all, you might have neurotransmitter imbalances. If you have a low-level depression that you can't quite explain and it's not coming from any external events, this might be to blame. Also, high anxiety levels is also relatively common. An inability to detoxify. So you're going to have a little bit more trouble than other people detoxifying things like heavy metals, even just alcohol. Your hangovers might last a little longer. In my case, this was certainly a big problem. And I even had heavy metal toxicity because I didn't address my MTHFR gene mutation. I wasn't supporting myself with the right supplements. It also disrupts your cardiovascular health. You might have high homocysteine levels, high histamines, and it also disrupts your fat metabolism as well as your hormones. So for men, you might have low testosterone, estrogen dominance. The same might be true for women as well. First supplement I want to introduce is going to be your Methylated B Vitamins. Okay, so this is the brand that I use called Thorne. I've also used Metagenics in the past, which has been great. Really what you want to look for in this methylated B vitamin supplement is, first of all, vitamin B12, but not just any vitamin B12. You want methylcobalamin, okay? If you see something called cyanocobalamin, you run away because that is a form your body can't use. The whole point of this vitamin is that they provide active forms of the nutrients that you can't actually convert, because remember, in the methylation cycle, you can't add the methyl group, that CH3, that carbon and 3 hydrogen atoms. Can't add that, right? So we want to look for vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. The second one is folate. So not just any folate, you want to have L5-methyl tetrahydrofolate. Okay, I know that's a mouthful, but just look for the methyl, okay? And you're good. And you want to stay away from folic acid. If you see folic acid, run for the hills, because that is going to accumulate in your body. It's going to make things worse. And it's going to bring a whole bunch of problems to you down the road. And most of the vitamins that are, in this case, this one is called Methyl-Guard, they're also going to have betaine and vitamin B6 as well. Once again, you're going to want to have the activated forms of those, but if you have, if the supplement says, L-methyl tetrahydrofolate, or kind of the methyl folate and that methyl B12, it's almost always going to have the active versions of the others as well. So just make sure it has the betaine as well as the vitamin B6 as well, because that's going to be very helpful. And it's just going to make it a little bit more well-rounded. So the next supplement that I'm going to recommend is Glutathione Force. So you can check it out, Glutathione Force, okay? So like I said before, the MTHFR gene mutation is going to make it very difficult for you to detoxify like a lot of other people do. Okay, so you're going to need a little bit more support. I recommend 2 supplements for this. One is just glutathione specifically. A lot of glutathione is very difficult to absorb though. So a lot of people take the precursor to glutathione, which is N-acetylcysteine, also known as NAC. I recommend a NAC that I have used in the past and I found very effective, down in the description, so you can take a look at that there. Otherwise, I've been using Bulletproof Glutathione Force. It's highly absorbable. I've noticed that my heavy metal levels have been very well managed since taking it, and I personally don't take this every single day. I take it probably 2 to 3 times a week. And if I happen to drink more than 1 day consecutively, which happens to all of us, then I definitely take it before going to bed. It's going to really make it easier for me to recover, especially if I'm not eating particularly well. So I'm recommending the Sports Research Vitamin D3 K2. I particularly like this formulation because it has the vitamin K2. Normally when you consume vitamin D, it's going to deplete your levels of vitamin K. Additionally, it also has a little bit of coconut oil. Most functional medicine doctors are going to tell you to consume breakfast or some sort of fatty food alongside your vitamin D to help with absorption. So in this case, if you for some reason cannot do that, then you're good because it actually already has a little bit of coconut oil in it. It's going to be very biologically available to your body, which is great. So next up is zinc. Zinc is going to help balance out those hormones, really dial down the estrogen dominance, and bring those testosterone levels up to a healthy level for whatever that means for you, depending on your age, your level of activity, and a number of other factors. So this is really good if you're having that chronic fatigue, low-level depression. It's really going to help you out. I take this brand, which is Metagenics. It has a blend of zinc arginate and zinc glycinate. It's not a very high dose, just 20 milligrams. I take this every other day, and then on my off days, I take a full-spectrum multivitamin that has zinc in it as well. And since we are talking about chronic fatigue here, I will have one other indication for zinc, which is after having sex for you men, if you're feeling tired, feeling a bit of brain fog after having sex, zinc is a great thing to have because when you ejaculate, you are losing zinc that's actually in your semen. So taking one of these, maybe having a double dose the days that you have sex is going to be really helpful to prop up those energy levels and get you recovered. All right, so next up is magnesium, but this isn't just any old magnesium. I'm recommending magnesium L-Threonate. This is specifically for the brain fog. So this isn't typically part of a MTHFR protocol. However, if the brain fog in particular is a problem for you, you may want to supplement with this. This has been really helpful for me. I used to be pretty groggy in the morning. I transitioned to being very much a morning person now, which is quite unbelievable. If I would recount that to the version of myself 10 years ago. So what I do is I take, here it says 2 capsules, so I'm taking the Metagenics brand. There's a lot of companies that make it. I've found this formulation to be particularly good for me. So it's just magnesium L-Threonate, and you take it, here it says 2 capsules, just take 1. That's worked for me in particular. If that's not kind of clearing your head in the morning, you're still feeling a little groggy, you may want to upgrade to 2, but I always try and kind of keep the cost of supplementing down a little bit. All these supplements are great, but they do add up, so we want to take the minimum effective dose at all the times, right? So this I would take about 2 hours before going to sleep. It's okay if you take it right before bed, but this is definitely going to help with that brain fog. And last, but certainly not least, is this kind of newer addition to my supplement protocol, which is the fulvic humic mineral blend. The last time I did some heavy metal testing, I noticed that my aluminum levels were a little high, and I was discussing with someone and they mentioned, okay, well, it may not actually be that your methylation cycle has problems directly, it's that you actually might have a mineral imbalance, okay? So I've been taking this, I put it about a half cap in my smoothie, sometimes a full cap, and I have noticed those aluminum levels go down. I took a look at my personal care products and my environment to see if I was exposing myself to aluminum. I couldn't figure out anything in particular. I had removed deodorants and a lot of other issues, but sometimes it is due to a mineral imbalance. So I did prop up my minerals here with this mineral blend, and that has really helped quite a bit. This, I would say, is an add-on. The others are kind of more the foundational parts, but this is, if you can't figure out why one of your heavy metal levels is high, really addressing your mineral intake in particular might be helpful. So now that you know my supplement protocol that I've refined over the past 5 years, what should you do next? Well, the first order of business is really to understand your ability to methylate. I'm a big proponent of understanding your bio-individuality so that you can tailor your supplement routine to exactly what you need to fit your body type, to fit your needs, etc. We're very complex organisms, and so we want to take a very holistic approach. What I recommend testing for is the MTHFR gene mutation, vitamin B12, folate, homocysteine levels, SAMe, which is not something we've talked about, but is a really critical part of the methylation cycle, and histamine levels. You can do that with a functional medicine coach, or you can just order from a variety of companies online. I believe I've left a few links in the description. You can check them out to see for those at-home test kits if you don't have a functional medicine doctor to go to. Okay, so if you're still suffering from that debilitating brain fog and chronic fatigue while you're waiting for those test results, or you just want to get started right away, you really need a solution, here's what I recommend. I'd recommend Thorne Methyl-Guard or some other kind of methylated vitamin, but remember, go back and check out the tips on how to discern those vitamins, okay? So, I would take about half or 1/3 of the recommended dosage until you're waiting for those test results. That's going to help support your energy levels, methylation cycle, and a host of other processes in your body. The next thing is going to be vitamin D3. I would take this every other day, not every day. You don't want to kind of overload your body with vitamin D. This is going to support with like immunity, specifically with hormone balancing and a number of other things. So this is pretty safe for most people to take. It's a good best practice. And lastly, zinc. A lot of people are deficient in zinc. They aren't getting it from food sources, and a lot of people aren't supplementing it with it either. So introducing zinc, particularly for you men, if you're having kind of low-level depression and kind of chronic fatigue, low energy levels, this is really going to help you out. So there you have it. That's one of the protocols that help set me free from heavy metal toxicity, brain fog, and chronic fatigue. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more insights and practices on how to master your biology, your emotions, and live a life of purpose. And lastly, you aren't alone on this journey. If you're suffering from debilitating chronic fatigue and brain fog, I've been exactly where you are, and I've made it my life's work to make sure that you don't have to suffer as much as I did in order to get well, and more importantly, to get thriving. Doctors and other experts might shrug their shoulders at you. They might say that everything is in your head, but I can assure you there are answers to the questions that you have as to why you are not well, why you're living beneath your potential. I can assure you there is support and there are answers to those questions. Lastly, go ahead and leave a comment below with any thoughts, feedback, or ideas for future episodes on brain fog and chronic fatigue. This is a topic I'm very passionate about and what really kick-started me into this personal development field. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode.